Hi, beautiful souls. Welcome to episode 6 of going deeper into the messages in my book, Raising Up into the Higher Dimensions, channeled messages from the Pleiadian Council of 9. So this morning I was guided to page 39, A Higher Dimensional Reality. So I'll read through the whole message and then we can dive into it a bit deeper. It is but one step at a time. Raising up into the higher dimensions requires a collapse of old outdated programs and beliefs that are not resonant in the higher dimensions. The frequencies that exist in these higher planes of existence are that of unconditional love, inner peace, joy, abundance, and freedom. This does not mean there is no duality, but there will be more understanding and less polarity. There will be more unity and understanding of others' unique perspectives, and you will know they are also a source energy being of love, seeing through the lens of their own higher self in human form. A shift to these states, these dimensions of higher frequencies, require you to claim more of your light, more of your sovereign power, and an expanded state of awareness and heightened consciousness. This process should not be forced in any way, for it's the natural progression of things, and it is in accordance with your soul's divine timing. What we do say to make this ascension process more easeful would be to allow the density to come up and be cleared. This can be done through allowing yourself to feel what you feel without making it bad or wrong, and let it move through and be alchemized and healed. This can be done by taking time in stillness and in the present moment, and cultivating that inner peace and feeling what your true soul's essence is like. Let the ego take a back seat and integrate the heart more and more, and tune into your subtle senses. Go with the flow with what arises in your life, knowing indeed it was you who orchestrated this experience, so you can grow in whatever way the situation served its purpose. You can take it moment by moment, doing what feels good to you throughout your day, letting go of the resistance, fears, and illusions of separation, and remembering that you are one. Such a beautiful message that, and it's what we need to hear right now, I think. So if we go back to the first part, it is what one step at a time, raising up into the higher dimensions, requires a collapse of old outdated programs and beliefs that are not resonant in the higher dimensions. So I know I say it a lot. They go on about the alchemy and the processing of this density, and the reason why is because we can't take that with us. This third dimensional reality and fourth dimensional reality that we're exploring, it requires us to be in that density and that physical reality, but it's for us to not stay in it. It's for us to release the trauma, the hurt, and all of that that's no longer serving us, so we can raise our frequency and our vibration and experience a different reality for ourselves and for the collective. Because there's certain things that are resonant depending on the frequency, the dimension that you're in. So we can't expect to still live the way we've been living and hang on to all these things that don't serve us and expect to anchor on to a higher timeline with that. So this is what is required. Okay. The frequencies that exist in these higher planes of existence are that of unconditional love, inner peace, joy, abundance, and freedom. Yeah, so like I said before, these different dimensions will hold different frequencies. And all that which we absolutely love, the feeling of love, peace, abundance, joy, and all of that is so resonant with the higher dimensions. Whereas the fear and all of that, it just doesn't match. This does not mean there is no duality, but there will be more understanding and less polarity. There will be more unity and understanding of others' unique perspectives, and you will know that they are also a source energy being of love, seen through the lens of their higher self in human form. So here in this third dimensional reality, there's a lot of separation that we perceive. We perceive ourselves to be separate from others. We perceive things being separate from us, objects, nature, whatever it is. And there can be a really strong polarity. You see people taking sides. This is right, this is wrong, you're that, I'm this. Or all those sort of differences, the love and the fear. And when we raise up into the high dimensions, it's not that everyone will be on the same page. We'll still be unique. We'll still have our unique ideas and our differences, but it's not like we'll kill another person over it. We won't hold hate in our hearts for another because of what they think, and there'll be less polarity. So it would be more on a similar wavelength is the best way I can describe it. And you'll see others through the eyes of source, and you'll see them as a source energy being, rather than this person is evil or this person is not good, or whatever it may be, whatever we want to put on them to help us not see the truth of what they are, right? To help our ego and to help us feel safe and separate. It's really collapsing that. And yeah, they too will know themselves more of who they truly are as well. Okay. So instead of seeing just through our humanity, just through our human awareness, there would be this knowing of who they truly are. So it would be like this balancing of our humanness and our divinity, that more integrated state of who we are. Not neglecting our humanity, honouring it, and also knowing our divinity just as much. A shift to these states, these higher dimensions of higher frequencies, require you to claim more of your light, more of your sovereign power, and an expanded state of awareness and heightened consciousness. Yeah. So you'll notice within yourself, you start really claiming who you are. There will be this shift. You'll start feeling better. You'll start knowing more of who you truly are, and you're really opening up your consciousness as well beyond what the limited human awareness is perceiving and comprehending. So it's a total shift in our state of being, really. And you know your sovereign power, so it's really moving out of that victim consciousness. This process should not be forced in any way, for it's the natural progression of things, and it's in accordance with your soul's divine timing. Yeah. So this is all unfolding as it should, and depending on the person, Some of us had our spiritual awakening and had certain understandings and levels of consciousness be revealed to us years ago. And some people may not have had that yet. And it's not like it happens and then we know everything. There's this constant unfoldment, this constant expansion. And some souls chose to be awake earlier in life, and some choose to perhaps leave it till later in life, or perhaps not at all. We are all so powerful and so advanced, and just because a soul hasn't chosen to awaken yet, it doesn't make them bad or any less good or any less advanced or masterful than you. It's just a different soul's journey. So it's really honoring that and not holding the expectation upon others to be where you're at emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, because yes, we're all one or part of source, but we're each unique expressions of that one source consciousness. So we're all here playing roles for one another. And it's so beautiful how we can experience all these different people, all these different emotions, all these different perceptions and ideas and ways of being. It's so beautiful. And no, it's all in accordance with divine timing. When you're vibrationally ready to activate certain things within you, be aware of certain things, then it's going to happen. And so that's the same with everyone else. Okay, and then it goes on to say, to make this ascension process more easeful would be to allow the density to come up and be cleared. This can be done through allowing yourself to feel what you feel without making it bad or wrong, and let it move through and be alchemized. So it's really important that in this phase we're in right now, you will be noticing things coming up to the surface within you. And it's to not make it bad or wrong. Instead, it's for you, and it's ultimately good, happening for your highest good. Because it's not all love and light in the lower dimensions, you know. There is stuff that's wanting to be alchemized into that higher state. So the best thing we can do is allow the process. Be these channels that are allowing ourselves to feel what's arising. Allow yourself to alchemize the energy, alchemize your mental state, and all of that. So it's really giving yourself full permission to be like, yes, I accept, thank you, I'm allowing it, instead of saying, no, this is wrong, this shouldn't be happening, I thought I dealt with this, or I've been feeling so good, so why now do I feel like this? It's to really get out of our minds about this stuff and just allow the natural evolution of things to happen. Okay? It's okay. You know, we go through cycles and phases. Some of them are just for a short moment, for a moment, or an hour, or a day, or a couple of days. Some phases may be longer. Can we trust that it's happening for our highest good? But not to wallow in these states that we know we have a choice to step out of, but to allow everything to occur as easeful as it can by accepting and seeing the gift in it. And even if we don't understand where all this is coming from, it doesn't matter. It's not for us to understand every little thing. It's just, can we allow this emotion to be moved? Can we forgive this person or this situation? Can we come from the perspective of our higher self and our divinity? Okay? So taking time in stillness and in the present moment, and cultivating that inner peace and feeling what your true soul's essence is like. Yeah. So especially when it's in those moments, and it's like, it's so important for us to just stop fighting, stop resisting, and just to surrender and let go. And I know it can be so hard, and we can think about like, well, how do I do that? And it's not till you're actually in it, and then you realize that you have no fight left in you, and you do surrender, and you accept, and you allow. That's when you experience that stillness. And then peace arises, love arises, calm arises, joy arises, happiness. Whatever it is meant to be for you in the moment, it can be experienced. And all these beautiful qualities want to be felt and experienced by you. And ultimately, you as a soul, your purest essence is love. So when you get out the way, you can allow yourself to really feel your natural essence of who you are, love. And then depending on who we are as a soul, we'll have our unique little sparks of differences within us. Some of us may be more compassionate, some of us may be more energetic and empowering and courageous, and you'll start to tap into what it feels like to be your true, authentic self. And then you can really become the witness to the human, to the ego. And that's really when you step into your power, because you remember who you are as a source energy being, as a multidimensional being. You can sort of step out of that, this is all I am, as this body, and you can step into more of who you truly are at your essence. Okay? It may take some time to still remove some of those layers and the conditioning and programming, but there'll be these moments where you're like, oh, this is who I truly am, or this feels so good, like I need nothing right now. It's all here within me. So even though sometimes this healing and this alchemizing and processing can feel very heavy, also know that from this, you can experience some most blissful, amazing states that you can ever experience. Because we're not here on this earth to just suffer and be in darkness and be in duality and separation. We came to experience all of it. So that means the highest of the high vibrations and frequencies too. And that's really where we're heading as well, remembering our natural state of wholeness and essence. Can we accept who we are right now? Even though there's these seemingly human things going on, and you might look around your world, but no matter what, you can still get in touch with your heart and who you truly are. And that doesn't discount anything outside of you, and it doesn't discount who you are. You always have the option to tap into that. And that's the importance of being present and being still. Let the ego take a backseat and integrate the heart more and tune into your subtle senses. Yeah. So when you start to do that being in stillness and in touch with your soul's essence, you start operating more from your heart and your divine self, your true self, rather than the ego. It's more like the ego's in the backseat, versus normally when your ego is so who you are and your divinity is like in the back. It's sort of that shifting, that integration. And yeah, you start to tune into more of your subtle senses. So when you're in those spaces of stillness and presence, perhaps you start having knowings and visions and hearing. You tap into those spiritual abilities that you have that aren't crazy or out there. It's so natural for us. It's how can we embrace the multidimensional being that we are? So we start to really Instead of being so fixated on us as an individual and this physical form, we start to tune into us as a non-physical being as well. Because just because we're here on earth as a physical body, there's still a part of us that's connected to Source, that is Source. So it's really remembering all that we are. Instead of just one simple little speck of sand on the beach. Because you've also got so many other lifetimes happening simultaneously. Like there's so much, and it's not for us to understand. We're in this life, our consciousness, the pure awareness of Source that we are, us as a unique soul, is streaming through this body, these eyes. So it's being fixed here first and foremost, us working with this physical life and where we're at, because we wanted to be here for this. Okay. Go with the flow with what arises in your life, knowing indeed it was you who orchestrated this experience so you can grow in whatever way the situation served its purpose. Yeah, so often we want to blame other people for our situations, or think that we'd never choose this option for ourselves. We would never choose to go through this pain or this suffering, this breakup, the death of a loved one, this certain horrific experience. At a human level, we're like, no, why on earth would I have planned this for myself? But at a soul level, your soul wanted this expansion, it wanted this new perception, it wanted to know itself as Source even more. It wanted this evolution. And it knew that you as a human, you wouldn't want that. You wouldn't consciously choose it. So it's like we set, before we come into this life, our soul has certain intentions. You know, if you look at astrology, there's certain things that occur in our life that happen and are kind of predestined. Like we have a destiny. What I think of our destiny is like our highest path, our soul's optimum path. But then we also have free choice. We have the freedom to choose how we navigate the path. We have the freedom to choose how we respond to things, how we react, what we choose on a day-to-day basis. And I think there's certain things that, yes, we can choose, but there are also certain things that is like our fate, our destiny, that no matter what we do, we are going to end up in that experience. So can we go with the flow of life, and can we ultimately choose the path that our soul chose? That's the one that's going to feel most like you're in that flow state, in that surrendered state, in that acceptance, and it's going to feel a lot better rather than being in this constant state of resistance of what is. It's really stepping out of that victim consciousness and instead being like, you know, I chose to be here in this lifetime. I wanted to be here. How may I listen to my soul? How may I listen to my heart? How may I be guided, regardless of what my human awareness and ego thinks? Yes, I can enjoy the pleasures of life. Yes, I can enjoy and choose certain things that maybe is coming from my ego. But ultimately, I'm going to be soul-led. Okay. You can take it moment by moment, doing what feels good to you throughout your day, letting go of the resistance, fears, and illusions of separation, and remembering you are one. Yeah. So this is a moment by moment thing, day by day. This is a lifelong journey of self-discovery, of self-acceptance, of self-love, and it's really moving beyond that which governs the lower dimensional realities, so we can raise up into the higher dimensions. And so that really all comes back to remembering our oneness and, those that are drawn to my work, this video, then you're on the path, you're remembering, you're awakening. And there are those that won't be drawn to this work and this stuff yet, and that's okay. So the more you start following your heart, following the nudges, following your intuition, being open to whatever's in your highest good and for the highest good of all, then that's where the magic happens. You don't have to suffer day to day. You don't have to carry this stuff with you. But it ultimately is your choice. You can choose to resist, push against, fight, be fixed in this mindset. And that's your choice. You have free choice. But what the Pleiadians and other beings of light in the higher realms are inviting us into is that there is a way to experience more love, more of who we truly are, and what we wanted as a collective to ultimately evolve, to live in more harmony, to live in more peace. So what are we choosing? Are we choosing to stay in the comfort, in the norm, in the lower dimensional reality that we have been? Or are we choosing like, hey, I know I'm on here on earth for a reason. There's this calling within me that's ultimately calling me forward for something greater. I'm being called forth to really open up my heart and be all that I am. I'm being called to live differently, whether it's in the small day-to-day things or perhaps big changes. Can we follow that? Can we have faith and trust in life instead of trying to control every little thing? There are things we can control and there are things ultimately that we can't. There's this much bigger force of life that is happening. Can we work with it? Can we co-create with it? Much love. Feel free to share anything in the comments. And I hope you have a wonderful day.